Whether it be the way someone looks at you or if they talk about you, it's still all bullying.
What is your definition of bullying?
I think bullying is when someone puts someone else down for being different or just for any reason I think it's in most cases to fill a gap of something they find missing in their life. And they might do it to fit in because it's just normal in high school or wherever. And I think it's really to make them feel good about themselves by putting someone else down.
Anytime you make someone feel uncomfortable or unwanted, whether you intend to do it or you don't intend to do it, you're still making someone feel as though they're less than. And to me, that is the absolute definition of bullying.
Any sort of action or any sort of words that just break somebody down.
Certain individuals who seek pleasure in gain out of misfortune of others, putting others down to better themselves, make themselves look better.
Making fun of somebody or calling somebody out for being different or for being just different than what somebody thinks that they should be.
Makes them feel like they are nothing, like there's nothing more to give, even if it's just a snide comment or like even on Facebook. I mean, that happens so many times and people don't even realize it's bullying. So I think it's just bringing someone to attention that doesn't want to have attention brought to them. It's just someone making them feel like they're uncomfortable in any kind of situation.
Can you talk a little bit about your experiences with bullying?
Well, I'm an athlete at the school and my friends, and there's definitely bullying that goes on within our friend group. I know there's some people who think that we're mainly the bulliers, I guess, but it's a little different than that in cases. Me personally, I've been the end of a lot of jokes with my friends. Maybe they're not serious, but it still has effects on me personally. Recently, over the past couple months, my friends have been calling me names and certain things that would lead me to feel a little bit less intelligent than them because I sort of think a little differently, and I don't always get words out, like you can tell right now. I don't always get words out as fluently as possible, but they sort of key on that and put it down, and I mean I try to play it off all like jokingly and laugh, but in the aftermath of that, I don't know, internally it's not the greatest feeling to be bullied.
I have witnessed people being bullied and it's very sad and it's upsetting. I can see that it really breaks them down inside, and I've seen people get to the point where they just feel like they don't even belong here anymore and they're not worth anything to people. And I don't think that's okay. I think that
I wake up every morning to get out of the bus to little 8th graders thinking they're tough, calling people names, generally my sister or myself. It's not typically fun to deal with. I mean, some days I just let it slide, some days it just gets to me. I put up with it for a couple of years now, so I'm to the point where I usually just let it slide unless I wake up from a rough night. I know how bullying feels. It's not fun, but it's just life. And then there's cases where me and my friends will goof off, we'll call each other names. I mean, we're joking around, but sometimes we can get a little harsh and one another can get hurt from what we say, but I've gotten to the point where I see that's not really what you should be doing. Even if it's just goofing off, sometimes it can hurt.
I've been a part of it all. I've been bullied, I've seen people bully. I regret every time I have been the bully, and have regret every time I didn't stand up for the person being bullied. But yeah, nobody should have to go through that, regardless of who they are, what they're wearing, what they like to do, whatever. It's awful.
I've seen all of the effects that someone can have from bullying, and it was someone that they didn't even know who was bullying them. They didn't know the person. It was just an attack on them, and it made them feel like they just didn't want to be here anymore. It made them feel worthless. And for someone to do that to someone else is an awful thing, that they don't even know the person. I've had personal experiences where I haven't known the person or I haven't known the person well. They don't even know me, and they bullied me before over stupid issues, and it wasn't even anything that should have been brought attention to, and it made me feel awful. It made me feel like I didn't do anything to deserve this. Why are you doing this to me? So I just think that it's so hurtful to anybody.
It wasn't until this year, really, that I started understanding what bullying was. When I was the victim of bullying, my so-called best friends started bullying me and making me the outcast in a tight-knit program at the school. I felt as though I didn't belong anywhere because I had secluded myself in this program, and then they were secluding me furthermore. So I was completely isolated in an already isolated sect of our school. Eventually it evolved into me wanting to graduate early and just wanting to leave the school for good.
About 10 years ago, I lived in a small town about 20 miles from here, and it was during the Iraq War, and there was a lot of antagonistic feelings towards the French at the time because of their political standing. And I live on the street in a modest home. I had just been divorced, single mom with 2 children, and people were pretty antagonistic towards us. We had X thrown on our garage door, things written such as "French go home." And one day my oldest son, who was at the time in 1st grade, came home and told me, "Mom, people have been calling me a French faggot on the bus for the last week, and am I French and am I a faggot?" So imagine my reaction to this really gentle, nice little boy coming home with that type of a complaint. So I called the school, talked to the administrator, and it was completely dismissed by the administrator, who said that kids would be kids. So for me, that was even a bigger blow than the incident itself. Then 2 years after that, I was then working in Canandaigua, and my children were going to the Canandaigua school district. And they were waiting for me by the car in front of the house, same street. And they come rushing into the house saying, "Mom, Mom, the neighbors are throwing rocks at us." So I rushed outside to see my adult neighbor standing behind the window of his kid's bedroom with a BB gun aiming at my kids and my car. I called the police. The sheriff was the cousin of the neighbor, and the neighbor was not reprimanded, nothing was done.
What sort of things would you like students who are bullies to know and understand about what they're doing?
And that they should stop, even though, sometimes it is tempting to, laugh at somebody. It might be funny, but it might not be funny to other people.
I want them to know that they don't need to fit in like that. Like, I feel like that most of the time they do it to feel good about themselves and to feel popular, to feel fit in, because if they pick on the nerds or the geeks or the unattractive people, then it'll make them feel better. And it's all because it's just become so normal in society nowadays. And I want them to realize, like, have a mind of your own, think for yourself, and realize what you're doing to these people, because what you think is just between 4th and 5th period, to that person, it was the final straw that ultimately made them kill themselves. So realize what they're doing and think about what they're doing. Think for themselves. Don't think with a hive mind mentality. Don't think like you're doing it to make other people happy around you, because it's really just making life so much worse for everyone.
Just know that you are making people feel bad about themselves, and maybe that's because you're insecure about yourselves, but it hurts to be bullied, and you realize that once you are bullied by someone else. So try to put yourself in that person's shoes before you bully them.
that it could really damage someone, that you could be putting someone's life at stake for just calling them just one simple name, or just putting your hands on them once. It can really change their life.
A lot of the times, kids don't even know what bullying is. And I don't think that it's necessarily the bully's fault. I mean, we have to be compassionate with the bully. So if you're a bully, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that you're dealing with something so horrendous in your life that you can't express compassion for other people.
What would you like to say to people who are being bullied?
I would want them to know that they're not alone, and that it really, really does get better. I'm living proof to that. And I mean, I think when someone is thinking about killing themselves, everything that's happening to them and they see no other way out, I think what ultimately drives them over the edge is the feeling of no one understands me. No one can understand how I feel as a person, and I just feel so alone, and it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore. And I don't care. That's how people rationalize it when they feel like that, I think. Is just, I don't care anymore, you know, because they're feeling so bad. And I want them to know that they're not alone, because there are other people like that, like me, and a lot of people that I know, a lot of people who have been affected by it. And so I wish so bad that I could just let them know that they're not alone.
I would say that, I mean, even if there's one person that even talks to you and tries to make everything better, it's worth it. Don't feel like you shouldn't do anything bad or not be here just alone, because you're not. There's someone else that's going through the same thing you are, and if by coming together you guys will be okay.
I think kids that are being bullied should know that they're wonderful, no matter what people say. That they should stick up for themselves because it works really well.
You don't have to allow them to make you feel horrible and worthless. You can, you know, do anything together. You can stand up to them. You can talk to an adult, to a friend. You know, there's always teachers or parents or older siblings even around where you can talk to them and see if they can do something to help.
You're not alone. Every day we hear about kids committing suicide or school shootings because they're bullied. And you're not alone, and that's not the answer to the problem. Although it may seem like it's the only solution, it's not. And I just want you to know that in any situation, if you know me or if you don't know me, I'm here for you. There are people willing to talk to you at any day of the week. Someone's willing to talk to you.